What current NBA owner reaches out to his former player when he was homeless and is paying for his rehab? I'll have that story tonight. I'll tell you who the owner is and who the former player is. Also, what NFL team is using a swarm of drones to clean their new state-of-the-art 71,000-seat stadium? I'll tell you who the team is and how effective this drone cleaning is going to be. Also, I've got the 2 monster bets of the weekend. They're going to help you cash up. You've found the place that helps you be smarter than your friends. It's the first round. Let's start the show.
You're tuned into the hottest sports analysis of the week with your hosts Ron Dolbeck and Chris Roberts. And now, here's the first round.
Hey, you're in the first round with Ron Dolbeck. It's a Friday night show. Chris is on special assignment taking care of some stuff. So it's Zach, it's me, it's my son Kez hanging out here in the studio talking about everything going on in the world of sports with you. We're going to be here talking about the biggest things going on in the NBA Finals, all of my college football picks. I have 2 monster picks that are my ironclad locks, guaranteed to make you help you to make money this weekend. And you just came back from going to the Lightning celebration parade, Zach.
Yeah, we champs, Stanley Cup champs.
So how was the parade?
A lot of drinking, a lot of good times. Tampa got crazy. That's what's up.
I've spent a couple months in Tampa, especially Ybor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ybor can get crazy, definitely.
Yeah.
But those were my non-domesticated days. So I'm a little more settled down now. It's getting awesome because everything's cooling down temperature-wise, and we've got the Big 12 playing. We've got the SEC last week kicking off. In a couple more weeks, we're going to have the Pac-12 and the Big 12. So it's almost like we have full college football going. Then we've got the NBA Finals. You know, for a couple months ago, everyone out there talking about we wouldn't have college football. Are we going to have the finals? Are they going to be able to pull off the bubble in the NHL and the NBA? We've got hoops. We've got everything going. And unfortunately, last week we had UFC, my Adesanya against Paulo Costa. I don't even know what Paulo Costa was doing. We will get to that towards the end of the show. But there are so many things going on in the world of sports right now, so let's get it started. And I'm only going to start in one place. It's the NBA Finals, Friday night tonight, Game 2. How about the Lakers come out and make a statement with a 116-98 win, get it done in Game 1. Anthony Davis, 34 points. LeBron chips in 25 with 13 rebounds. Miami starters only accounted for 49 points and 13 rebounds. This mic is working, right, Zach? 49 points from the starters and 13 rebounds. Goran Dragic and Bam Adebayo out for Game 2. Those kind of numbers aren't good when they were playing. I don't see them getting past LA at all now. It might be a sweep. Game 2 tonight, Friday night. Recently fired head coach Doc Rivers leaves the LA Clippers, signs on a new 5-year deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't understand why a coach at his position is going into that town with that mess and trying to clean up something that nobody's been able to do in the past 15 years. But you know what? He has won a championship. Good luck to him. Who is going to replace him and in his vacant Clipper position? Maybe Tyronn Lue. They can't bring in Mark D'Antonio. I think that he's just a high-scoring guy that can't have any defense. Mark Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, wants to win championships now, so I think he's going to get stuck with either Tyronn Lue or some other retread. Other news out of the NBA, Billy Donovan takes a position with the Chicago Bulls after being mutually walking away from Oklahoma City. I think he's going to do good there. He just needs to get some talent around him. NFL news, 7 undefeated teams left after week 3 of play. 2 have a good chance to lose this week. I'm going to tell you who they are when we get to the NFL segment. The best 2 teams that I've seen so far in the NFL. How about Green Bay and Kansas City? Aaron Rodgers at 36 years old looks like he's been bathing in the fountain of youth. 900 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he has a QBR rating of 90.3. Those numbers seem oddly familiar to me because the other top quarterback in the NFL has almost the exact same numbers. I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes. from the Kansas City Chiefs, the other top team in the NFL right now. How about these numbers for Patrick Mahomes? Also 900 yards, also 9 touchdowns, and also 0 interceptions. He has a QB rating 1.8 higher than Aaron Rodgers. This is what I say all the time. The two things you need in the NFL is a team mentality and a quarterback that can take you to the promised land. That's why I don't believe in so many teams that make the playoffs, like last year with Tannehill and the Titans. They had a great running game. They had a better-than-average defense. But if you don't have a quarterback that can lead you to the promised land, then you're not going to make it. Tannehill's one of those guys. Moving on to college football, it is officially back because of last weekend. The SEC kicked off their play. Who looked good? How about Florida getting it done 51-34 over Ole Miss? Ole Miss's offense, which is Lane Kiffin's hat that he hangs everything on, they actually looked pretty good. But Kyle Trask, 0 interceptions, 6 touchdowns, threw for about 500 million yards. He is looking great. Kyle Pitts, 84 at the tight end position, looks awesome. They get their home season started off tomorrow in the Swamp against South Carolina. I think South Carolina's getting too many points. I'll give you my pick on that one. Who else looked good? How about Miami and Manny Diaz in their resurrection year embarrassing Florida State 52-10? FSU is going in the wrong direction. Who did not look good over the weekend? How about Oklahoma getting flattened at home by Kansas State, 38-35? Kansas State gets it done on the road. Star quarterback for Oklahoma, Spencer Rattler, throws 3 interceptions at critical points in the game. They also ended up getting a punt blocked that turned all the momentum. Kansas State gets a big win on the road. Looking good, KJ Costello, transfer quarterback to Ole Miss from Stanford. The Pirate, Mike Leach, gets a big win in Death Valley at LSU. He goes on the road, beats them 44-34. How about KJ Costello going for 623 yards against an SEC defense on the road in Death Valley? That's one of the pluses. Bad's Georgia offense in the first half, absolutely abysmal versus Arkansas. Dwayne Mathis has got to go. He was terrible. They bring in Stetson Bennett. He steps up in the third and fourth quarter to walk out of Arkansas barely with a win. Also not looking good. Florida State overall. Their offense, they didn't have a coach, no discipline, no quarterback, no offense versus the U. I think they're in big trouble. They get Jackson State this week. They'll rebound with the win. But they've got to find a quarterback because James Blackman is not it, and I'm not the only one saying it. This is the big word around Tallahassee right now. Also in my not looking good category, how about the Texas defense? Same old problem. They give up 447 yards against Texas Tech. That is ridiculous. 10 penalties for over 100 yards. Their secondary is starting to look like Swiss cheese. They get the win 63-56, but it's the same problem. They have a ton of offense, and they don't have any defense. Big games this weekend in college football. Number 7 goes on the road in Athens to take on number 4, Georgia. They slip from number 3 after a dismal performance against Arkansas. How about South Carolina going to the Swamp to take on the new number 3 team in the country, the Florida Gators? Also, number 13, Texas A&M goes on the road to Tuscaloosa. They'll take on number 2, Alabama. I've got picks on that one. And number 18, Oklahoma trying to rebound. They'll go to Ames and take on Iowa State. You don't walk into Ames and just get a win. Major League Baseball playoffs have started. Braves erase Cincinnati. They get their first playoff series win in 19 years. Congratulations to the ATL. Tampa, Houston, and the Yanks all sweep their series, and they're on to round 2. And last but not least, congratulations to Zach's Tampa Bay Lightning for taking out the Dallas Stars in the Stanley Cup Finals 4-2. They lift Lord Stanley's Cup for the second time, and that is everything that is going on in the world of
we
sports.
Champs, baby.
What was it?
I said we champs, baby.
You're champs. You guys knocked us out, the Boston Bruins, in round 2. That was, for as much talent as we had to run into your buzzsaw. Otherwise, we could have made the finals, but that's just excuses and sour milk.
You had no goalie, man. Your Tuukka Rask guy left, and that took all your hope.
I know.
away.
Tuukka walked out.
Not with our offense, man.
You guys were laser focused, man. I mean, I got to give it to you. And you got the cup. Everybody's going to get their name on it.
Yeah, I think it's the coolest trophy in sports, really.
It is. Have you actually held it or seen it?
I've seen it,
But I've never held it.
Yeah, when I was in San Diego, I used to go to a lot of the West Coast hockey games there, the Gulls and stuff. And one night they had it there, and you can go up and get a picture at the table. It was pretty impressive. And to get your name on there, it's an eternal thing. So it's such a milestone for anybody that was even on the team. How about Steven Stamkos plays 3 minutes, in the playoffs, gets his name after such a great career. Great player. I think he'll be back next season.
He was 100%. One shot, one goal.
One shot, one goal.
One shot, one goal for the playoff, man.
You never score the shots that you don't take.
Yeah.
So let's get started with some of the crazier stories going on in the world of sports before I get to the NFL and to my college picks. I need redemption on my college picks from last week. They weren't really hitting. I don't know what was going on with me. I had a touch of COVID or wasn't drinking enough or didn't. I don't know what.
You didn't pick Florida State, did you?
No. I actually hit on Miami, but two of my picks, they missed so bad that I didn't really want to do the show this week. I mean, they were really, really bad picks. My worst picks were against my son and Chris, picking Paulo Costa, the eraser from Brazil, over Adesanya. I mean, he didn't even come out. I mean, like I said, I'll get to that at the end.
Yeah.
How about these stories? Amid all the COVID protocols and procedures, the Atlanta Falcons have actually purchased what I would call a swarm, an army of drones. And what they did was they attached these misters onto them. They fly them all around the stadium, shooting out bacteria, germ-killing agents all over the place. And that's what they're doing to clean up their new state-of-the-art 71,000-seat Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's original. I guess it's better than Manpower. I thought it was kind of cool. Not to be outdone, though, the Carolina Panthers. How about this story I found this week? They bought several $100,000 Xenex Light Strike robots. This thing looks like R2-D2 with a club light on it. And what it does is it kills the germs at a rate of 5,000 to 7,000 square feet per hour. They use these things in hospitals, operating rooms. So it rolls into the room. The top goes up. The light shoots UV rays all over the place. It kills all the germs. And like I said, they can kill 5,000 to 7,000 square feet an hour. The problem is the Carolina Panthers play in Bank of America Stadium, which has over 2 million square feet. So one little guy, it's going to take him about, 300 hours? And there's only 170 hours in a week, 168 hours in a week?
Yeah, they're going to need a few more robots for that stadium.
Yeah, I think they bought a couple of them at $100,000. That's a lot. Other interesting story, let's go to the NBA. Mark Cuban, one of the most outspoken owners, who actually I respect a lot, not just because he made money, but he's a pretty intelligent guy. But he is a little Trumpish sometimes because he'll say stuff once in a while that's completely out of left field that you don't understand. And then because he's so intelligent and so smart with money, you just let it slide. But he actually did a really humane, awesome thing. Former player for the Dallas Mavericks, Delonte West, 8 years in the league, earned over $16 million, played with Boston, Seattle, Cleveland, Dallas. He had a cup of coffee basically everywhere. But he's been very honest, Delonte West, about what's going on in his life. He has had chemical dependency struggles. He also came out very publicly and said that he struggles with bipolar depression and talks about his mental health issues that he's suffered with or fought against over the past 20 years. Actually, to the point where he was homeless in the last 6 months. Mark Cuban drives into a gas station and sees Delonte West, picks him up, sends him to Florida, gives him some money, gives him a money manager so he doesn't go through all of his money because he does have a child, and is paying for his rehab. And I thought that was an outstanding story. He's been very open about using antipsychotic drugs not in an abusive way, but to help him. In 2009, he was pulled over. The police found 3 guns. 2 of them were loaded. He's just had a history of not good stuff going on. And I hope that this is the point on his lifeline where things start changing and they start heading up. I think it was a great move by Mark Cuban, a real human effort. Also in the NBA, let's talk about the Lakers going up 1-0 in the finals. Wow, you want to talk about coming out and making a statement in game 1. I was actually having a conversation with Chris about what are the chances that Miami can actually pull off winning 4 out of 7 from the Lakers. And when you're getting 3-1, you put up $100. If Miami wins, you're getting 3. If you bet on the Lakers, you got to put up 600 to win 100. I didn't like those odds that much. I like them even less now after game 1. Not only did the starters not show up for the Miami Heat in game 1, now 2 of their outstanding players are out. Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic are hurt. Probably they're listed as doubtful for game 2. Jimmy Butler has a right ankle sprain from game 1. He didn't even look effective the rest of the game. It happened early in the game. He kind of rolled it up on a drive, and it got caught on the foot of Anthony Davis. He didn't look the same. I don't know what I'm getting out of Miami now at this point. Game 2 is tonight. I know what I'm getting out of LA. They're focused. They have a fairly good coach. They have good role players in their starting 5. I think obviously it starts with LeBron and it starts with Anthony Davis. Both of those guys are at the top of their game. They're playing super focused. I look for them to get it done. I threw a bunch of money on them to win the series. I think the series is over. Zach?
Yeah, I was going to say the same. I mean, on the Lakers, you have 2 of the best players of the world that are still relatively healthy compared to the Miami Heat.
Oh, yeah, at the top of their game.
Who just seems like they used all their magic to get to that point. And now that first game you saw, you have players going down, and that's exactly what they don't need if they want to try to get the upset.
Right, and where was Robinson? Where was Tyler Hero? 14 points. He's going to have to step up in game 2, 3, 4, and 5 if they can even get to 5. But I can't even paint a picture of how they're going to win this series now. I threw a boatload of money on at 1,000 to 1. So I got to put up 1,000 to win 100, and the Lakers have to win this series. So I think that one's a wrap. Other story coming out of the NBA, Doc Rivers signs a 5-year deal with the 76ers for being what I think is one of the top 5 coaches in the NBA and an elite coach who's won everywhere he's been. He was a great player. He won a championship in his 9 years with the Celtics. Couldn't get it done in 7 years with the Clippers. But why do you want to take over the mess in Philly? I mean, that is – I understand you want to get back into coaching, and you're feeling some rejection because your girlfriend just broke up with you, and now you don't have Kawhi. You don't have Kawhi. You don't have PJ, and you don't have the role players. You got Embiid, and you've got Ben Simmons on the floor at the same time. You can't have it. Tobias Harris isn't going to carry that team. I don't see it happening. I mean, they have got to make some serious hardcore moves in this offseason to become contenders in the East. I'm just wondering why Doc signed up to try and fix that mess. And who's going to take over the Clippers? It can't be Mike D'Antonio. He's never taken a team to the championship. He's never won a championship. They're talking about Tyronn Lue. I think that's just a mediocre retread move. I can't see that happening. I mean, Mike Brown is out there. I think Mark Jackson is out there. I have said his name. Chris and I have talked about him several times. So I think he would be a legitimate guy to take over there. They've got talent. I think they just need to get focused. And it's completely inexplicable how they could not get past Denver. Denver was playing hot. I think they're the only team in NBA history to come down to overcome 3-1 deficits in 2 series in the same year. Having said that, when you have that much talent on your team and you're Doc Rivers and you're up 3-1, you've got 3 games to win 1. You got to find a way to do it. He didn't. Owner of the Clippers, Steve Ballmer, wants to make a move. He's out. They're going to end up with some retread. Let's get to college football. The biggest surprise last week, there was a couple of them, I think. I mentioned Mike Leach, Mississippi State. They go into LSU and get a huge win. I think that's a statement game for them. That's a big thing. And you could say, well, LSU lost a lot. It's still LSU. It's still Death Valley. I think that's a huge win for them. Manny Diaz has officially turned it around. I'm not going to jump that fast onto that train because if you look at what Miami's done, yeah, they got to win against FSU 52-10, but it's FSU still. It's still a dumpster fire and a carnival of insanity. And they didn't have a coach, Mike Norvell, who had COVID issues and was back in Tallahassee. But they didn't have an offense. They didn't have a quarterback. They didn't have discipline. They didn't have anything. They didn't have motivation. And Miami was playing at home. But if you look, Miami's beat UAB, Louisville, and Florida State. So I say, so what? I'm not going to say that the U is back. I'm going to say that the U has momentum. But I'm not going to say that they're back yet. You actually have to beat somebody. And where Louisville is at, FSU, and UAB, I'm pumping the brakes on the U is back. Let's talk about the games that are coming up this weekend. South Carolina, we talked about them going on the road to Florida. In the last 3 years, before you pick Florida in a blowout, they're given 18 points at home. I think that's way too much because if Will Muschamp can do anything, first of all, he shouldn't be a head coach, but he's a defensive coordinator. He can defensively scheme. And how about this stat? In the last 3 years against Florida, South Carolina has scored 27, 31, and 28. I'm teasing this one up. I'm taking South Carolina plus the 24 points. This is one of my monster picks of the week. Yeah, Florida ran it up against a team that didn't have any defense. Plus, Ole Miss last week actually had an offense, which gives Florida more chances to be on the field and run up over 50 points. So I'm looking for South Carolina to keep this close. They've proven in the last 3 years that they can score points against Florida. I'm taking South Carolina plus the 24. Florida, their D has to sharpen up. I know it was, Lane Kiffin, and he'll do weird stuff, but the deeper you get into SEC play, you got to start sharpening it up the farther you get into those games. Oh, man, that was good. How about this big game that not a lot of people are talking about? A matchup of two top 25 teams. Number 13, Texas A&M, going into Alabama, ranked number 2. Excuse me. They looked good last week, but it was on the road against a less than mediocre Missouri team who almost has no offense. So Alabama got a quality win on the road. They looked sharp. Mac Jones came out. He has a lot of talent around him. Jalen Waddle. They've got running backs, Najee Harris. Their defense is still solid. I think they have one of the top 5 offensive lines in the country. So they did what they were supposed to do. And what did Texas A&M do with their $75 million coach, Jimbo Fisher? Well, they skated out of their first SEC game against Vandy barely with a win. Kellen Mond is the key to this game. If Nick Saban ever has problems, look over the past 10 years he's been at Alabama, the hardest games that they've ever been in are against mobile quarterbacks. Think about it. Trevor Lawrence gives him all kinds of fits. Actually, 2 years ago, blew him out in the championship game. Johnny Manziel, mobile quarterback, goes into Tuscaloosa and gets a big win. Kellen Mond is not an awesome arm, but he is mobile, and Jimbo Fisher has to use his talents and play to his strengths, control the clock, keep Alabama off the field. This is another teaser special for me. I'm taking Texas A&M, and I'm probably out of my mind. Going on the road into Tuscaloosa, which, again, how much of there's no fans. They might have the $1 million band there. But I'm not sure how much of a home field advantage that's going to be. And the motivation factor for Jimbo, he's got to start getting it done. He's got a quarterback that's mobile, that has a decent arm. They've got wide receivers, and they've got a defense that last year was in the top 25 nationally. I'm taking Texas A&M plus the 23.5 points. I think they cover. I think they keep it close, but I think Bama gets the win. Number 12, North Carolina goes on the road to BC. How about BC is 2-0 right now? Playing really good. The story with North Carolina in the whole offseason and in Game 1 against Syracuse is Sam Howell. Game 1, 295 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. I don't like those numbers. That was at home against a dismal team. Dino Babers is a good coach, but this is not Syracuse's year. That should have been a whitewash, and it wasn't. Sam Howell didn't look great. Now he's got to go, again, on the road to a BC team that's 2-0. They have a good quarterback, Phil Jerkovich, 510 yards against Duke. Now, before you say, okay, it was against Duke, okay, I'll give you that. But anytime you go in conference on the road and you throw for 510 yards, you're doing something right. So they're going to be at home. They're up 2-0. They have some experience this year. They're familiar with their offense. Your quarterback has proven he's capable. I'm taking BC, and I'm teasing this one up. I'm taking the 20 points. I love BC at home in this game. I think North Carolina better watch out. It's a slippery slope there because BC is better than Vegas thinks they are. Another big game in conference, SEC. Auburn, number 7, goes on the road to Georgia. What was going on with Georgia last week at Arkansas against Felipe Franks in the first half? You want to talk about a bipolar performance? I mean, they looked like hot trash on a skillet in the first quarter and the second quarter. Then Stetson Bennett gets put into the game. They bench DeJuan. Who's their quarterback there? DeJuan. Oh, man, I can't remember his name. Anyway, he was terrible. The guy they had starting there was absolutely abysmal. Stetson Bennett comes in and actually picked up the pace. Georgia has got to, get their running game going with Zamir White. Only 71 yards rushing, 121 total for Georgia last week. That's not going to get it done against Auburn.
It was DeJuan Mathis.
I was going to say Murphy. Good looking that one up. So the other key for Georgia, though, you have got to use the talent you have around you. What was the biggest concern with the Bulldogs last season? Conservative gameplay and conservative offense with Kirby Smart. You have George Pickens. He's a sophomore, and he only went for 4 receptions for 47 yards against a really bad defense in Arkansas. Guess what? Auburn is better than Arkansas. You have got to find a way to open up that offense and quit being so conservative. Kirby Smart. Use George Pickens. He's got to get more than 4 receptions for 47 yards. And find creative ways to get Zamir White the ball. 71 yards was decent. It's not decent against Arkansas. And 71 yards isn't going to do it against Auburn. Zach?
I was just going to say, I think last year, too, one of the problems with Georgia was the inconsistent play from Jake Fromm.
Yeah.
Just one game he looked good, another game he didn't have it.
Jake Fromm is going to have a cup of coffee in the NFL and be gone. He is not an explosive quarterback. He is a manager. He's a game manager. Yeah. And now they don't even know who their quarterback is going to be. They're waiting on JT Daniels. Stetson Bennett's been there. This is not his first rodeo. Throw him in there. He looked okay. He got some experience last week. He saved your butt. The thing is, you're going up against Auburn, who's ranked number 7 in the country. And last time I checked, Arkansas can't even spell the word 7. They're not ranked. Felipe Franks looks no better than he did at Florida. So you don't want to hang your hat too high on that victory. You escaped with a victory. Bo Nix last week, 16 for 27, 233 yards, 3 touchdowns. It was against Kentucky. Kentucky's better than average. This game is a 6.5-point to 7-point spread. Georgia's laying the 7. I don't understand that. I'm teasing it up. I'm taking Auburn on the road in a tough conference game. I think Gus Malzahn is going to have the Tigers ready. I'm getting the 13 points, and I look for them to cover in that game and possibly even win. How about Oklahoma laying a giant egg last week against Kansas State? Spencer Rattler had 3 interceptions. They had a blocked punt. They did not look focused in the second half. And this was a game that Lincoln Riley, you're playing at home against inferior competition that you have to win those games.
And I believe that was the second year in a row, too. They lost to Kansas State.
Yeah, because they lost last
unranked,
year in Manhattan.
And they were unranked, too. Both
Right.
times Kansas State was unranked, and they beat Oklahoma.
And they lost last year in Manhattan. You're absolutely right. Spencer
They got their
Rattler
number.
with three interceptions isn't doing himself any favor. I think he's a young kid, but it's next man up. It's Baker Mayfield, and then every year it's just some new guy. Jalen Hurts, first year, bam. Baker Mayfield, bam. Every year it's just a new quarterback there. You got to step up. Going into Ames to play Iowa State is not going to be easy. Iowa State getting 7 points. I'm taking Oklahoma to win the game. I'm not going to make a pick on the spread, but this has to be a redemption Saturday for Oklahoma and turn it back around. Missouri goes on the road to Tennessee. Tennessee is kind of having a revival right now. They won 6 of their last games at the end of last year, and they feel like they've got a big momentum switch going on. Tennessee is laying 12 points. I'm teasing that down. I'm going to take Tennessee. I'm going to lay the 6. The only problem I have with Tennessee is one of the biggest factors that you need to win, which is their quarterback, Jarrett Garantano. I've never believed in this kid. I don't know if he's a dual threat guy. He doesn't seem like a pocket guy. He doesn't seem like he's got leadership skills or he's going to win the big game for you. He just seems like a lot of flash that never wins the big game. This isn't a big game. This is a manageable game. I like Tennessee at home to keep riding the momentum wave. I'm taking them minus the 6. Last game in college football, number 20, LSU. Wow. They're just going to bounce back. You know how much they lost? They didn't just bounce back. They get whitewashed last week at home against Mississippi State. We're done talking about that. They go on the road to Vandy. How upset do you think Ed Orgeron was this week during practice? I mean, I'm not going to try and do. Can you do an Ed Orgeron? You know,
I couldn't do it, but I know he lost his voice during the prep. You
Exactly.
gotta go out there and
You know
play.
what Ed Orgeron sounds like? He sounds like one of the guys with the tracheotomy. That's what he sounds like.
He definitely sounds like the coach from like a 70s like high school football
Yeah.
like show or movie where the coach is getting his team up at halftime.
The White Shadow. Yeah. How upset do you think he was this week, and how motivated is Miles Brennan, the new quarterback at LSU, going to be? How motivated is that defense going to be? Wow, you want to talk about coming out party? Where was Bo Pelini in his offense? This guy's supposed to be a defensive wizard. Not last week. Not last week. KJ Costello was a average to better than average quarterback in the Pac-12. Comes down to the SEC where they play real defense. Puts up over 600 yards throwing against the defending national champions. And again, I don't want to hear about all the people they lost. Patrick Queen, defensive lineman, half their secondary. Doesn't matter. This is LSU, not LS who. It's just next man up. That's why they are in the top 10 in recruiting every single year. So when you lose people, it's next man up. And last week it wasn't. I think that they are super motivated. They're laying 21 points. I'm taking LSU to get the win. I'm hoping that they're going to look more impressive than last week. Vandy last week, 255 total yards against Texas A&M. That's anemic. But it's Vandy. It's Derek Mason. There's not a lot of focus or emphasis put on the college football team because they're splitting atoms and finding cures for cancer, which is a great thing. But I think LSU comes out motivated. Last year, they played them tough. This year, I'm going to take the LSU Tigers. I'm going to lay the 21. I think it's, as much as you can say it's a little bit of a stretch, I think it is. But I think LSU gets it done. I look for Ed Orgeron and LSU to come out, play motivated against Vandy, and get a big bounce-back win. We are at 855 subscribers. We want to thank each and every single one of you. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscription button right now. Hit the notification button. You will be notified twice a week, once a week. Whenever we put up new material, we'll upload it. YouTube will let you know about it. Become a part of the family. Tell your friends about the first round. Help grow us to epic proportions. If you've missed any of this show or any others, check out all our archive videos right here on YouTube. We have been here every Monday and Thursday. We might be going to just still putting out 2 videos, but only on Thursdays, uploading 2 different videos on Thursdays. We'll let you know about that. How about going on to the NFL? The two top teams I said, Green Bay and Kansas City. Kansas City goes into Baltimore and absolutely shows out on Monday Night Football. Patrick Mahomes, I think he's up to, he's got 9 touchdowns right now. Russell Wilson's got 14 in the first 3 games. Aaron Rodgers has 9 with no interceptions. These are the hottest guys right now. First game I want to talk about, Saints going on the road. They're 1-2. Who expected that at this point? Playing at Detroit. 1-2, getting 4 points. 8 players, including Michael Thomas, star wide receiver for the Saints, will be out for the Saints this week. I'm taking Detroit plus the 4 points. I don't know how much Matt Patricia's going to do it. I don't believe they're going to do it. I'm just picking them. Give me Detroit plus the points. And a drink. How about the team that I said was the most underrated team in the NFL? At the beginning of the season, sitting at 3-0. I'm talking about my Seattle Seahawks going on the road. Vegas knows something that I don't know. They're only laying 6 points. They're only laying 6 points at Miami. Who knows something that I don't know? Shouldn't this be like a 10 to 12 point spread? I'm a little leery of it. I got to tell you that. But you know what? I'm going to take Seattle. This is another one of my teaser specials, because I'm parlaying together a lot of these teasers. I'm taking Seattle and giving a half a point on the road against the mighty Fighting Floresettes. That's what I'm going to call them, the Floresettes. I think Seattle gets it done. I don't know why this line is where it's at. DK Metcalf is starting to emerge. I know he had that bad bum play that cost them a touchdown, but they still got it done against Dallas, who's a quality team. I think they go on the road and beat the Fish. Look for Seattle to win big. Colts at the Bears. Bears 3-0. Who thought that they'd be saying that? One of the reasons they are is because of Nick Foles bailing them out last week. Nick Foles takes over. I think he's going to be the starter for the rest of the season. The Mitchell Trubisky experiment has to be over. The Bears are getting 2.5 at home. I like them. Take the Bears plus the 2.5. Minnesota and Houston in a battle of two teams that have no victories. They're both 0-3. Houston's laying 4 points in this one. If you've got two equally matched teams, I'm going to take the points. I'm taking Minnesota on the road against the Bill O'Brienators, and I'm going to take the 4 points. Big, big game as far as I see it in the NFC. New York G-Men go on the road to the Rams. How good have the Rams looked? Yeah, they got beat by a quality Bills team on the road last week, but they still looked solid. I think they've fixed the throwing the ball 75 times in a game problem. They have good game management. They have a good coach. They have a good quarterback. They're laying 13 points. They're third in offense in the NFL. They definitely know how to score. The problem with the Giants, they're 31st in defense, in overall defense in the NFL. They gave up 357 yards on their defense last week. I don't believe in the G-Men. I think they're years away. Their offense is anemic. Their defense looks like they're MIA, and they're a bunch of Swiss cheese blocks running around in the secondary. I know it was addition by subtraction when they got rid of Eli Apple and Janoris Jenkins, but they still haven't fixed the problem. And Joe Judge is in his first year. There's just too much ammunition in the gun for the Rams. I'm taking the Rams. I'm teasing this one down. They're giving 13 points. I'll take the Rams. I'll give 7.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Out of the Giants and the Jets, who do you think is going to get the first win of the season between them?
Giants. Adam Gase is a
They
dumpster
both look
fire.
so bad.
Oh gosh. The Jets have to be the worst team in the NFL, and Adam Gase has to be the worst coach.
And the Giants got to be in the bottom 3 with them.
They've got to be, but
both teams in the. I think that's hilarious. In one stadium are both garbage.
I'm giving the Giants the slight edge because of the Bill Belichick factor with Joe Judge. Yeah. It's going to take him a while to get that ship fixed. It's not going to happen this year. I still think I don't know what kind of a quarterback I have in Daniel Jones. Now Saquon Barkley is out, so how are they even going to move the ball?
Yeah, they can't.
No, and I think that the Rams defense tees off on them. I'm going to tease it down. I'm taking the Rams. They're playing at home. Sean McVay is a great coach. They have a great defense. I think their offense is starting to roll. I like this. This is one of my ironclad locks. How about my New England Patriots and the Caminators? 2-1 on the season, going on the road to KC, 3-0. KC is laying 3.5. I'm taking KC against my Patriots. I think the Patriots are going to keep it close. But Casey's offense is just so lethal. It's absolutely frightening. And now Patrick Mahomes is motivated. He's got a kid on the way. He performed, and now he's got to perform. So he's got a kid. He's motivated. I'm taking KC. I'm laying the 3.5. How about who said that the Bills going into Week 4 would be 3-0, going on the road to the Las Vegas Raiders? Raiders are getting 3. Raiders have actually looked good this season. They get the big win on Monday night against the Saints as they open up Alliance Stadium in Las Vegas 2 weeks ago. They looked pretty good on the road at Gillette against the best coach of all time in the Patriots and Bill Belichick. I'm taking the Las Vegas Raiders against the Bills plus the 3. It's an upset special, and I'm not totally sold on Josh Allen. He's getting better. I love the Bills' defense, but something's telling me anything happens in the NFL every single week. It happens. Teams win that aren't supposed to. Teams lose that aren't supposed to. Give me the Vegas Raiders and the 3. How about one of the biggest disappointments in the NFL? Philadelphia Eagles. Defense, 5th. Offense, 24th. How far they've fallen since 2 years ago when they were in the Super Bowl going on the road to San Francisco. George Kittle, all-star tight end for San Francisco, will be back. No Jimmy G. San Francisco's laying 7. They've got the 3rd best defense in the NFL. I'm taking San Francisco. I'm laying the 7 points. I think they get it done. Pitt and Tennessee postponed due to COVID. I know that makes Zach upset because there went your bye week. Pittsburgh's actually looking good. Ben's looking good. Their defense is looking good. Let's get to the Monday night game. Atlanta. Oh, boy. You might have to mute yourself. There's no cursing on the family show, Zach. Atlanta at 0-3 with the 31st best defense. The 31st best. That means that you're near the bottom. One of the worst defenses. And who's the coach? Dan Quinn, who's a defensive coordinator. How do you let that happen? I'm not even asking, how do you not pick up an onside kick when it's just sitting there rolling? I'm not asking that. How do you let it happen that you have the 31st worst defense and you're a defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn? They go on the road to Lambeau Field to play who I think is the 2nd best team in the NFL in the Green Bay Packers. They are 3-0. They are laying 7 points. They are 2nd overall in offense at 459 yards a game. Aaron Rodgers looks like a fetus. His arm is awesome. Their offense is clicking. Defense is 14th best in the NFL right now. I think this is a big win. I think I take the over on this game, but I think Green Bay gets it done. They're only laying 7 points. Somebody knows something I don't know again. I'm not sure what it is. Those are my NFL and college picks. Moving on, lastly, to the MMA wrap-up show. Zach,
I think they're expecting on that Green Bay Atlanta game for Atlanta to have the lead for most of the game, probably like 4th quarter, and for them to epically blow it like usual, and then Green Bay will win by a touchdown.
Hey, consistency is a big thing in the NFL.
Atlanta's really great at blowing those leads.
Yes.
So I think we should look forward to them looking good first 3 quarters.
And then running away.
Yeah.
Where are they in the 4th quarter?
Nowhere.
Where's Waldo? Where's the defense? Where's Dan Quinn?
How do I play special teams? Do I pick up this ball?
Yeah, they're going to be in that unemployment line, some of the players on the team, and Dan Quinn. Because I can't see them going into Lambeau with the way that the Packers are playing right now. Their defense is solid. Their offense is just humming.
They have good offensive weapons.
On Atlanta?
Yeah, Atlanta.
Yeah, they do. They've scored points.
And then they just don't know how to play football for a quarter.
Well, Green Bay's going to get a big win there. Let's wrap up MMA from last week. Israel Adesanya gets a big win against Paulo Costa. I had Paulo Costa. I must have gotten lobotomized. When he went in, did you actually see the fight, Zach?
I did not. No, I did not catch the fight.
I don't know what Paulo Costa was thinking. I'm not even saying he was thinking. He was just playing patty cake with Adesanya, who took him apart in 2 rounds. Where was the killer? Where was the drive? Where was the pride? None of it was there. Where was the guy that stood with Yoel Romero for 3 rounds? Rock'em Sock'em Robots in the telephone booth together. Where was that Paulo Costa? He erased himself. He's known as the Brazilian eraser. Not only that, he cost me a bunch of money. Another guy that cost me a bunch of money is Derek Reyes. He stepped in against Jan Blachowicz. Quality fighter. Current champion now. But again, I got to ask myself, where was the Derek Reyes that fought against John Jones, that was moving ahead, that was aggressive, that wanted that belt? You want to talk about two of the biggest fights of the year that absolutely laid an egg? It's got to be those two guys, Paulo Costa and Derek Reyes. Big D for disappointment. Massive. I was just asking myself, when are they going to start fighting? Both of them go out in the second round. It was over. It was totally over. Blachowicz put Reyes to sleep. I mean, he hit him with a right that was so, it was like rubber band legs. He went down, and that was the end of that. So now I have to look forward to October 24th. Justin Gaethje tries to get it done against Khabib. That's the next big fight on the UFC ticket. I'm going to be looking forward to that one because I think that's going to be a monster fight. Both those guys are tough as hell, and I hope it turns out better than the ones that we just saw this last weekend. That's the show. We're going to be back next week. We're going to have 2 uploads for you. We're going to be talking about everything going on in the world of sports. Hopefully, my college picks stand up this week. You can reach us here and become a part of the show. Follow us, first of all, on Twitter at @thefirst-round1, or be a part of the show. You can email us here at thefirst-round-rd@gmail.com. We answer emails usually at least once a week, and that music can mean only one thing. We're here to thank our support staff. Zach, the man on the board, after his championship parade.
What? Go Bolts.
El Presidente Chet 40 for all of us here in the first round. Join us here with Chris and Zach. Next Thursday, we're going to have 2 uploads. Appreciate you being here with us, talking about everything going on in the world of sports. Hit the subscription button. Hit the notification button. Tell your friends about the first round. Help us grow to epic proportions. We will see you next week. Until then, take care of yourselves, everybody.